Yeah, I was going to reserve the chat over Virat Kohli for just a little bit later, but you're right. You cannot talk about this match, this Asia Cup, without talking about Virat Kohli. And you very rightly mentioned KL Rahul coming back as well. Interestingly, Rohit Sharma was asked both of these questions today. He was asked about Virat Kohli. So he said that, listen, from where I am looking at Virat Kohli, he looks good. He looks in good touch. He says that it's not like Virat has completely changed. He's the same guy, but because he's coming back after a break, there is a certain amount of freshness to Virat Kohli. And ultimately, of course, Virat will be hungrier than anybody else to prove that he is, the man and the batsman that he is, that we all know him for. Secondly, interestingly, he was also asked about the combinations, Nikhil, that the Indian team has been trying. And one of those is, in the absence, for example, of KL Rahul, the opening combinations. There's just so much to choose from. And Rohit Sharma mentioned that, they all 15 are in the mix. So if I were to ask you, what are the, and he said categorically that, we have made a decision, a categorical decision, that we are going to try things. We are going to mix it up. We are going to try and fail and succeed. And that's how we'll know what we want to do by the time the World Cup comes by in October. According to you, what are those combinations and what are those changes and what are those trials that have worked for Team India, especially in this format over the last 6 to 8 months?
Shivani, I think in the T20 format, Rohit is also trying that perfect combination in the 11, and of course, keeping in mind the T20 World Cup that's going to be played in Australia. So I think that combination is going to be very, very important. And I think if you're going to be playing in Australia, in the back of his mind, and I know this, and I can say it pretty confidently, that there's a good chance that even Virat might look to open in that combination that they're going to be trying, different sort of permutation and combination. But also, the thought process in the camp is to have your five bowlers, and of course, Hardik can come and roll his arm over. It'll be a blessing because if you look at the 20 overs format, 120 balls, I think Rohit is coming from a point of view that the 120 balls should be shared between six batsmen, and you have the five bowlers and the sixth option from the other six batsmen who can bowl, and that is the Hardik for you as well. And you got a match finisher in Dinesh Karthik, the kind of batting that he's been doing as well. So to me, I think it's pretty much set. I mean, this could be, I'm saying, a blessing that you don't have some of your senior bowlers in the fray playing the Asia Cup, but it's also an opportunity for some of the others to seal their ticket for the T20 World Cup. So to me, the biggest thing would be you might see Virat Kohli open the innings as well in one of those games to see how it goes. Because at the end of the day, if you look at our top three, 1, 2, and 3, you don't
Rohit
want the
Sharma
top
did
three to be
mention that
batting at.
we are a team and a system that gives everybody a chance, and we give the chance to people to raise their hands and say, I'm also somebody who can do this. And he said that, over the last few months, several people have done that. And therefore, it is a problem of plenty for them. And everybody has performed in whatever role or whatever challenge was thrown to them. He also said, Babar said his playing 11 is more or less set. Rohit Sharma said his playing 11 is not set. He kept it a surprise. So we don't know. As you said, there could be some surprises up their sleeve. But speaking of the Rohit Sharma, I put a question to both Rohit and Babar, the two talismanic captains for both the arch rivals. And this is what they had to say when they looked back at that World Cup clash between the two. Listen in. For a rivalry like India-Pakistan, how much did the loss in the last match in a World Cup, which was our first loss to Pakistan in a World Cup, hang on the team? Even though it's been some time, does that still get discussed and looked back at? And before this clash, do things from that match get talked about of what went wrong and things like that?
We do talk about our losses. There's no doubt. I mean, that's how we want to improve as a team. What we didn't do right, what we did right, and of course that loss did hurt us at that point. But I think it's been a while since that game has been played. So for us, we've got another challenge in front of us now, and there's no point thinking about that loss at the moment. We need to think what we didn't do as a team, particularly on that night. And since then, we've played a lot of games. We've tried to correct those mistakes, in the games that we played after that.
बाबर आपने बोला कि ज्यादा गर्मी नहीं है इंडिया पाकिस्तान क्लैश की। पिछली बार तो आपने पहला वर्ल्ड कप मैच जीता है इंडिया के खिलाफ, जो लास्ट मैच था। तो अब की बार तो आपका बिल्डअप बहुत स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए। आप तो अंडर प्ले कर रहे हो क्लैश को, आप उसको यूज नहीं कर रहे हो पिछले मैच को।
देखें, वो मैच गुजर गया, अब नया मैच आ रहा है और नई कंडीशंस है और नए मैचेस हैं और बिल्कुल कॉन्फिडेंस होता है। और ये नहीं कि हम बड़ी बड़ी बातें करें, ज़रूरी नहीं है बड़ी बातों से कुछ होता है। मेरे ख्याल से जितना आप ग्राउंड में अपने आप को दिखाएंगे उतना ज़्यादा अच्छा है।
All right. So you heard both captains there of what they make, of how they're going to, how they're going to be affected by the last match, which was, whatever said and done, Kiran More, it was a pretty bad loss for India. They lost face, really, and it wasn't a great campaign for them anyways. Possibly where Virat Kohli's big miseries really started, and now it is a chance, almost a year later, for him to revive back, and everybody's eyes are on him. But how much do you think this match will depend on both captains, Kiran? Rohit versus Babar. Both are going to be very crucial for their teams, isn't it?
See, for Rohit, he's a new captain of Indian team. The last time Virat Kohli was captaining, and Rohit is, he's won so many IPL trophies, and he's a very shrewd captain. He doesn't show much. He's a cool guy, and he's a quality player. And Babar Azam as well. He's one of the top international players in world cricket. I think you see after so many Pakistani cricketers, he looks a solid player. And you see he played in press conference, he skated very nicely. I said, you don't want to talk too much. You need to show everything on the pitch, and that's what he's going to do that, and it's going to be an interesting contest. And talk about Virat Kohli. See, Virat Kohli is a quality player, and Shivani is a bio bubble thing. I have been through that bio bubble, not playing, but as a support staff and spending a lot of time. It's not easy mentally, and I think Virat got affected up because of that. I feel that every cricketer played, but some players have got affected really. And I thought, and I feel that this Asia Cup, you will see a different Virat Kohli, and I want him back. He's a legend. He has performed very well, and and India especially want Virat Kohli back in special good form.
Yes, yes. Kiran, you're so on the money, because even Rohit today talked about how mental fitness, and especially post-COVID, everybody, he said, has been through so much that mental fitness, Nikhil, has become extremely important. And as much as you talk about physical fitness when a player comes back, let's say after an injury or after a layoff or after a bad patch of form, today it is mental fitness and clarity that people are talking about.
Shivani is very important. We talk about mental fitness, and especially in sport, to go out there to try and follow your processes, as there's a lot of concentration involved in it. If you stop enjoying your day out when you're on the park, it's like going through the motion. And in sport, you need to be controlling your emotions, you need to be controlling your processes, because you can't control the result. And so you need to be 100% out there mentally. And I think Virat coming after a break, some of our other senior guys coming after a break, Rohit coming after a break, he had that brief break as well. It makes a world of a difference. And I know you just come back from a break as well. So that mental freshness is very important to go out there and be at your best.
Okay, I wanted to ask you again a question that was posed to the Pakistani captain today. The fact that this match is happening in Dubai, and Dubai is a happy hunting ground for Pakistan. Of course, they beat India here last time around for their historic win. Do you think that is going to play a part?
Yes, I think that's a big psychological advantage that they have, because they know that they've done so well on these grounds, or this ground particularly, and against India, the massive victory that they enjoyed last time in the T20 World Cup. So that's going to be a big advantage. I also just want to make the point that Babar Azam is, in my opinion, and by consensus, is being touted as the best all-format batsman in the world today. So there's pressure on him to perform to his potential or his reputation, and of course also lead the team. But it also means that people or players like Virat Kohli, in 2019 World Cup, ODI World Cup, Virat Kohli was top of the pops, and Babar Azam was somebody aspiring to break into the big four. Today, Babar Azam is perhaps the luminary there, with Joe Root. Virat Kohli and Kane Williamson are not in that preeminent position, but Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant. There are so many other players from India who could get into or break into that Fab Four or the Big Four club, as we call it. So Babar Azam is also going to feel the heat. It's not as difficult to reach the higher pedestal as to remain there and maintain that position. And I think Babar, in that sense, will be feeling that heat. If he does well in this situation, then hats off to him.
Yeah, absolutely. He will have a lot of pressure, although he doesn't show it. He is also a very cool customer and plays down everything, his form, his stature, the fact that he's possibly above Virat Kohli right now. And who could have imagined that, as you very rightly said just 3 years ago. So, gentlemen, I do thank all of you for joining us. A reminder for our viewers that I will be live from Dubai before the India-Pakistan blockbuster clash on Sunday as well. So join us at 6 p.m. in the evening with our experts who will be joining us again, and with a whole host of fans with me. But talking of fans, I want to end this special broadcast with a conversation I had with India and Pakistan fans today. Thanks a lot for watching, and take a look at this. Goodbye for now. It doesn't need to be said, there is nothing quite like the atmosphere before an India-Pakistan match. I'm in Dubai and I'm surrounded by Indian fans on one side, Pakistan fans on the other side. Some are based here, some have travelled. Of course, Ram Babu is a famous Indian fan who travels all along the team. This time around, अच्छा लग रहा है कि जो पिछली बार की हार थी पाकिस्तान के साथ, उसका बदला होगा?
बिल्कुल, वो बदला तो शायद हम भूल गए हैं, क्योंकि वो था, एक मूवमेंट आया था, लेकिन पाकिस्तान को मतलब आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट में जीतने का मौका मिला। चलो अच्छा है, वो अच्छा खेले, वो जीते, लेकिन ये टूर्नामेंट थोड़ा चेंज हो गया। ये एशिया कप के चैंपियन हम 7 टाइम रहे हैं और दिस टाइम भी चैंपियन रहेंगे, और पहला मैच ही हमारा पाकिस्तान के साथ है, तो भाईचारा हमारा अच्छा है। इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच ऐसे दोबारा होते रहे और हमको भी मौका मिले, सब लोगों को मौका मिले देखने का। बहुत अच्छा टीम बनी हुई है हमारी, और वर्ल्ड कप के लिए ये प्रिपरेशन बहुत अच्छी रहेगी, स्पेशली विराट कोहली के लिए। हिंदुस्तान से क्या, पाकिस्तान से क्या, ऑल ऑफ वर्ल्ड से यही एक वो आ रहा है, विशेष
फॉर्म वापस आए,
धमाका करें और टीम इंडिया को जिताने में योगदान।
तो आप लोग भी विराट कोहली को की बैटिंग देखने के लिए खुश हैं?
जी जी बिल्कुल चाहते हैं कि विराट दोबारा फॉर्म में आए और पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ ना आए, उसके बाद आए और अच्छी तरीके से आए और हर टीम के खिलाफ परफॉर्म करें, लेकिन पाकिस्तान के साथ नहीं करें तो ज़्यादा बेहतर है।
पिछले T20 वर्ल्ड कप की तरह इस एशिया कप में भी दोनों इंशाल्लाह हमारे जो ओपनर हैं, पहले की
बार बार नहीं होता ना पाकिस्तान से।
हमें उम्मीद है,
इस दफा हम ये चाहते हैं कि 10 विकेटों से ना जीतें, 2-3 आउट हो जाए।
इंशाल्लाह मैच अच्छा होगा, बहुत अच्छा मैच होगा। जिस तरह की मैच से तवक्का लगाई जा रही है, उसी तरह का मैच होगा।
Sunglasses?
Yes, we refused.
What's wrong if a Ganesh idol is wearing sunglasses?
The problem is not that Ranveer Singh wanted his Ganpati idol to wear imported sunglasses.
Then?
The problem is he did not want him to wear...
Oh, okay. All right. And if you say the problem is one more time, I don't know what else I would do with my life. We could have had 3 children in the time this takes to end this gag. Who else?
Rahul Gandhi has also ordered a Ganpati idol this time.
What kind of Ganpati idol?
He wants a healthy, fit Ganpati idol that is meditating.
Ah, that sounds good.
But there is one problem. He wants us to send it to some mysterious foreign place that nobody in the Congress party is aware of.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Delhi. Oh, okay, all right. Go on.
Also, I'm making one for Smriti Irani.
That's very interesting. What's special about that statue?
Nothing. It is just a nice looking Ganpati idol.
Then what is the problem?
Just as we delivered to the Pandal, she turned around and said that she never ordered it.
Ah, after it was delivered to the Pandal, she said she didn't order it.
Yes. On top of that, she refused to accept that the Pandal was hers also. Very odd.
Oh, you're tying it up with that whole controversy. I'm trying to get Kunal Vijayakar's name put back up, on, which I will not be part of. That's not right. That's corruption. What about me? Can you make any idol that resembles me?
No, difficult.
Why?
Very difficult to make such an oversized idol which is completely hollow from inside.
All right, let's move on. Let's look at one of the most iconic aspects of Ganesh Chaturthi, the handcrafted Ganesh idol. To find out more about these, we get in touch with Mumbai's renowned Ganpati idol maker, Balu Saheb Modak. That's right, same name, same actor, same gag. God save us. Mr. Modak.
Namaskar, Mr. Cyrus, and best wishes for the Ganpati festival to you.
To you too, sir. To you too. Mr. Modak, it's a busy time of the year for you, obviously.
Very busy, very busy. You see, we have been making Ganesh idols in our family for over 5 generations now. Even my son and his son is joined in my family business.
Wow, I'm sure by choice. But things must be different today, unlike, let's say, your father, your grandfather's days. So how has the Ganesh idol making sort of evolved? Take us through that process.
Evolved, very evolved. Nowadays, people who order Ganesh idols want to make statement on current affairs, politics and topicality, you see.
That's very interesting. Very sharp society we live in. So you look at the political climate, you look at maybe news trends, those kind of things?
Exactly. Now, for example, what was the biggest news of the last few months?
My neighbor selling his flat, but that's local. Commonwealth Games?
Correct. So one Ganpati Mandal wants us to make an idol which represents the Commonwealth Games.
Well, that's good, that's good. So what kind of idols would you make? Take us through that.
So the idol we are making are all dressed as weightlifters.
Nice. Not so unusual though.
It will be. See, we will have weightlifters from all different states lifting different kind of weights.
Can they lift this weight? Explain, please, explain.
Like the weightlifter from Bengal will be lifting 5 kilos of gold and cash mountain of 50 crores.
Dear viewer, this joke would have worked better 2 weeks ago. But that is innovative. That is innovative, sir.
We are making another tableau about Commonwealth theme only.
But tell me, how else have you depicted the Commonwealth Games?
So, this pandal is dedicated to a wrestling team. The Ganpati idol will be in front and he will be surrounded by wrestlers wrestling, you know.
Oh, you mean Ravi Daya, Vinesh Vogat, Naveen Kumar, Bhavina Patel?
No. Modern wrestlers, not like those people.
Like who?
Like
Hello everyone, you're watching Super Saturday Debate with me, Maria Shakil, getting you the latest in the murder mystery of BJP leader and former actor Sonali Phogat. The Goa police has arrested 2 more people, including a club owner and a drug peddler. The cops also recovered drugs from the washroom of Curly's club, where Phogat was locked for 2 hours. The washroom has now been sealed by the Goa police, and the police has also revealed that Sonali was forcefully drugged before she died. CNN News 18 had earlier accessed the CCTV footage where she can be seen dancing with a man, Sukhvinder Singh, while in another footage she is clearly unconscious and she is being carried away by a man who has been identified as Sudhir Sangwan, her personal assistant. The police on Thursday had charged Sudhir and Sukhvinder for murder under Section 302. CNN News 18 has also accessed the telephonic conversation between Sudhir Sangwan and Sonali Phogat's nephew Sachin that happened moments after her death.
हेलो सचिन बोल रहा हूँ जी।
हाँ सचिन,
कहाँ वहीं हो क्या अभी?
हाँ गोवा हूँ भाई।
अच्छा, तो पोस्टमार्टम वगैरह क्या कुछ चल रहा है?
देखो शाम को होएगा, कल होएगा।
अच्छा, शाम को या कल होगा? तो ऐसे कैसे हो गया ये?
पता नहीं भाई कैसे हुआ, मेरे तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा।
अच्छा, तो आप वहीं थे क्या, पास ही साथ ही?
और क्या, रात तो सारी रात तो राजी खुशी बतलाए हैं। सुबह 7 साढ़े 7 बजे की बात है, मैं 5 से 7 मिनट के लिए कमरे के बाहर गया था, इतनी देर में हो गया।
अच्छा अच्छा।
And we are getting you more exclusive details in the investigation that is being done by the Goa police. Sudhir Sangwan will be the prime accused, is what top police sources are telling CNN News 18. In custodial interrogation, he has not revealed much. Other arrested accused is Sukhvinder. In his interrogation, he has actually told the police clearly that he is wrongly being trapped by Sudhir Sangwan, the personal assistant of Sonali Phogat. Sudhir was staying with Sonali Phogat for the last 4 years. Goa police will be in fact travelling to Haryana tomorrow to get more details of the nature of their equation and relationship. Sudhir will have to reply why he delayed medical assistance to her. Medical aid was delayed for almost 4 hours. Secondly, police will also be looking into the financials of Sudhir to understand the benefits he was receiving from Sonali Fogart. But a tough case to prove as murder is what sources are saying. Anshul Singh is joining me live from Goa. Anshul, what are you picking up from your police sources? Is this an open and shut case? And what exactly is the motive behind this murder?
So yes, there are many different layers of this entire investigation that is going on right now in Goa, especially by the Goa police, and now since Haryana police has also come in, there are many layers of this investigation that is being unearthed right now. So the relationship between Sonali Fogart and Sudhir Sangwan is also being interrogated by the police, because remember, Sudhir Sangwan was the person who came into touch with Sonali Fogart right when she was contesting that election for the BJP, and that was a time when he became her PA. And if you talk about the background of Sudhir Sangwan, then also you see that he is a very renowned lawyer, a very good lawyer, a very well-to-do lawyer. But since the last 4 years, he has been staying with Sonali Fogart, even though he has his own family, and that is the reason why when they came to Goa, it is getting very difficult for the Goa police to prove that this was actually a murder. Because even if the conversation that CNN News 18 has accessed, even in that conversation, so he looks very clueless as to what happened. Because remember, what police sources have told us is that they actually got 3 grams of MDMA from the drug peddler who is under the arrest of Goa police as of now. They actually got 3 grams of MDMA and approximately mixed half of it as to what they thought was the right amount. They approximately 1.5 grams of it to the in the water, which is also known as speed water. They mixed that MDMA into water and gave that water to Sonali Fogart to drink. We also accessed that CCTV footage where we can see that Sonali Fogart was actually very reluctant while drinking that water, but Sudhir was the person who made sure that she drank that water. And after she drank that water, her body could not take the amount of drugs that came in, because remember, these are drugs that make you really high, which gives you a lot of energy in your body, and that is the reason why we saw Sonali Fogart being in the situation that she was, because she was definitely overdosed by the amount of MDMA that had gone into her system, into her body. And we also, the bruise marks that the post-mortem report has shown on her legs and other parts of the body also suggest that she actually banged into different things while going to the washroom, and from there she picked those injuries.
Yes,
and this is what Sudhir has told
medical aid
Goa
being
police.
delayed for almost 4 hours is what sources are telling CNN News 18, and this is what the police says explains why Sudhir Sangwan is actually the prime accused in this case. Why did he not seek medical assistance for Sonali when she was found to be in that condition?
So yes, what we have been told is that Sudhir actually himself had no idea as to what amount of drug was to be given, and the reaction that came out of Sonali Fogart, that was very unprecedented for them. I also spoke to the family members of Sonali Fogart, where I got to know that there was absolute no history of any sort of drug abuse. So yes, they were the first time users, and when they used it the first time, they had no idea as to what were the amounts that to be used and what could be the backdrops of it, or what could be the setbacks that they could get through it. And hence the amount of drugs that was used, that actually resulted in the death of Sonali Fogart. And that is why the Goa police is saying that it is going to be really very difficult or a very uphill task for them to actually prove that this was a planned murder. And or because the Goa police also believes somewhere around the corner that this was actually done by accident, since they did not know the correct amount of drugs that could be used to get through the night. But yes, the amount of drugs that were used for that party, because remember, just 1 day ago, before that CCTV visual came in, or before the death of Sonali Fogart, just one night ago, in fact, they came here to Goa, and right after reaching Goa, they went to that party where they consumed these drugs in high quantity, after which Sonali Fogart had the drug overdose, is what the police is saying. But remember, this is all the part of a preliminary investigation that the police is doing. Today, police has arrested two more people. These includes the drug peddler who supplied those drugs to Sonali Fogart and his aides, and also the owner of Curly's Cafe has also been arrested. Now, The owner of Curly Cafe has been arrested because he has a bad history. Because remember, a few years ago there was also a case in Goa in the same Curly Cafe where a foreigner, where a tourist in fact was raped and then was thrown into into the waters, and that is the reason why the police has now arrested the owner
so
of
all eyes clearly are
Curly
now
Cafe. So it
on
remains to be
Sudhir Sangwan. Who is he and why has he become the focus of this entire story, and why is he being seen as the main accused? I'm going to take that question to Hemant Atri in just a bit. But earlier today, I spoke to Sonali Phogat's brother-in-law who demanded a CBI inquiry into the incident and called it a murder. Let's listen in. We are being joined by Kuldeep. He is Sonali Phogat's brother-in-law. Kuldeep ji, thank you so much. आपने हमें समय दिया. आज और अरेस्ट हुए हैं. सब इंडिकेशन है कि कोई लार्जर कंस्पिरेसी है इस मर्डर के खिलाफ. जो क्लियरली अब दिख रहा है, ये जो नॉर्मल हार्ट अटैक का इंसिडेंट नहीं है. जब आप लोगों ने ये डिमांड किया था कि ये सीबीआई इंक्वायरी हो, तब ये सब शायद फैक्ट्स पब्लिक डोमेन में नहीं आए थे. तो क्या अब जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो रहा है, परिवार के मुताबिक ये सही डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है?
मैडम, अभी तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन सही चल रही है. अगर ये बाद में यानी कि वो ना हो जाए, बाद में यानी कि ढील बढ़ती, तो हम सीबीआई इंक्वायरी की मांग करेंगे और नार्को टेस्ट की मांग करेंगे. अभी क्या है, 10 दिन का वो मिला है, क्या नाम, रिमांड मिलने से ये नहीं होता. अभी उसको रिमांड पे लिया जाए, उससे सख्ती से निपटा जाए, उसे मार पीट के पूछा जाए तेरे साथ कौन था कौन नहीं था. वो जब भी बताएगा, ये थोड़ी ना बताएगा होटलों में जाके यहाँ ड्रग दी थी, ये दी थी, वो कर रहा था, यहाँ हम वहाँ ले गए हैं, वो ले गए हैं. वो तो यही कहेगा, उसको घुमाते रहेंगे ये 10 दिन तक पुलिस वाले. फिर क्या रिमांड हुआ?
उनके जो पर्सनल असिस्टेंट है सुधीर सांगवान, वो अब पुलिस हिरासत में हैं और गोवा पुलिस का कहना है कि उन्होंने मर्डर भी एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है. आपको क्या लगता है मोटिव क्या होगा इस मर्डर के पीछे?
इसके पीछे यही होगा भी इसकी जमीन जायदाद पे यानी कि हम कब्जा कर लें. हमारे को क्या पता कागज वगैरह लिखवा रखे हैं क्या, ये तो पता चलेगा, उसका रिमांड लिया जाएगा. जब पता चलेगा वही बकेगा. अभी क्या नाम करा रखा है, किस वजह से मौत की गई है. हम तो अभी तक तो, मैं तो शुरू से ये कहता आ रहा हूँ, कोई चैनल उठा के देख लो, मैं ये हार्ट अटैक नहीं है, ये मर्डर है. कोई मान ही नहीं रहा था.
तो सुधीर जो उनके पीए हैं, वो उनके साथ गोवा क्यों गए थे? क्या लगता है, और क्या सोनाली ने इस गोवा ट्रिप के बारे में अपने परिवार वालों को बताया था?
कोई तीसरे दिन नहीं थी, कोई चौथे दिन नहीं थी, शूटिंग तो थी नहीं. वो उनका पर्पज यही था, गोवा कौन आएगा इतनी दूर इनके परिवार से, और भाई यहाँ यानी कि ड्रग दे के इसको और वो कर देंगे, यानी कि और फिर कह देंगे हार्ट अटैक है, और वहाँ ले जाएंगे, अपने सारा कुछ कब्जा कर लेना. लॉकरों की चाबी उसके पास थी, गाड़ियों की चाबी उसके पास थी, फ्लैट की चाबी उसके पास थी, सारी चाबियाँ वो रखता था. एटीएम कार्ड तक वो रखता था, टेलीफोन, ये मोबाइल फोन भी वही रखता था. मैडम,
So the main accused in this case is Sudhir Sangwan, the personal assistant of Sonali Phogat. Let's give a recap for our viewers as to what do we know about him. He met Sonali Phogat in 2019, and this was during her political stint. He used to arrange for her funds for her political campaign and managed the entire campaign as well. So he was the strategist, come personal assistant, come manager for Sonali Phogat. What now the family is alleging, this is now the family's version, that Sudhir actually had access to Sonali's property documents. He used to operate Sonali's accounts and finances. He had access to her farmhouse, had even taken her ATM card. He used to operate her ATM card. And he did not allow family members of Sonali Phogat to even talk to her, did not even respond to their messages when Sonali Phogat's family would text her. He, in fact, used to even decide who gets to meet Sonali and who would not even meet her. Why did she start believing him so much? A person she had only met as recently as 2019. Hemant Atri, respond to that question. He is a lawyer by profession. he is now the main accused in this entire murder. What made Sonali Fogart have so much of faith in him that she was almost distancing herself completely from her family?
Arya it's a very good question in the whole episode. See, she was very less educated. She was only a matriculate. And all of a sudden, by virtue of her connections in BJP, she got a ticket from Adampur, which is a very high profile constituency. So all of a sudden, it came to her and she was not aware of what about the electoral politics is. And Sudhir Sangwan, he took, benefit of the same thing and got close to her during the whole process, maybe Lok Sabha election in 2019, and subsequently in her own election in 2019, October, when Haryana Assembly was going on. So that was the pretext through which he got into, and he started managing her finances, her convenience, her meetings, her appointments, and everything. That's how he entered into, because it was very challenging for getting a ticket and contesting an election. They are two different ball games. Sonali got that ticket, but she had no experience of electoral politics, and he got a benefit of it. He got so close to her that he became everything. See, unfortunately, she got widowed in 2016, and she has only one daughter of 15 years. And the family at large, she has two more sister-in-laws who are also unfortunately widows. Only one of her, brother-in-law is alive and who is not also in a good condition. So she needed one help, an active help. And Sudhir got into that space, he got into those boots and started managing everything. That is point number one, okay. Mariaji. Second thing, which your correspondent was saying and which I think is missing somehow. See, in the whole conversation, that audio conversation that you just played, here again, Sangwan is also telling a lie. What he is saying that all through the night they were talking and everything was going smooth. While as the your camera footage and everything, it is showing that from 12 onwards, she was not well. She was taken to the washroom. She stayed for 2 hours. And after that, she was taken to that resort. And from there, she was carried to the hospital. He's telling lies all through. That makes him all the more culpable on 3 accounts. Okay. Telling a lie to the family, not taking their calls, and not giving her a medical aid.
Assistance. That's what even the police is saying, that why did Sudhir not provide her medical assistance for almost 4 hours when her condition started deteriorating after having that spiked drink?
One more fact.
Yes, Hemant, I just have 20 seconds for you. Please, quickly.
One more fact. Sudhir can be very openly seen inducting drug to her through a glass or a bottle.
Okay.
What else proof you want? He is inducting MDMA orally through a bottle.
That's a subject of investigation, Hemant Attri. Thank you so much for joining us. Shifting focus to our debate now. There seems to be no end to Delhi government's troubles, with the Kejriwal government now under lens over an alleged scam in building additional classrooms in government schools in Delhi. A CVC report of 2020 had found irregularities and procedural lapses in the construction of additional classrooms in schools. The report has cited counting toilets as classrooms to inflate figures related to school infrastructure and was flagged by the Central Vigilance Commission inquiry report. The report was then sent to the CVC, and in fact the Vigilance Secretary in February 2020 for seeking comments regarding further investigation, but he did not revert. Now the Delhi LG Vinay Kumar has sought a report from the Delhi Chief Secretary over the delay of 2.5 years on part of the Vigilance Department in acting on this inquiry report. The controversy has now become a full-blown political war, with BJP Delhi Chief Adesh Gupta hitting out at Delhi Education Minister Manish Sisodia. Manish Sisodia, meanwhile, came out all guns blazing against the BJP, calling it a party of illiterates. With the heat on Aam Aadmi Party once again, the big question is, will we know the truth? Will the Delhi government answer questions? We'll be taking those questions to the guests in just a bit, but first the story.
भेड़ियों की तरह अरविंद केजरीवाल, मनीष सिसोदिया ने मिलकर शिक्षा के नाम पर भी करोड़ों रुपए का घोटाला।
इनको ये हजम नहीं हो रहा कि दिल्ली के सरकारी स्कूल बहुत शानदार चल रहे हैं। ये अनपढ़ गंवार लोगों की पार्टी है और ये पूरे देश को अनपढ़ और गंवार रखना चाहती है।
Joining me now, Anuja Kapoor, spokesperson of Delhi BJP, Abhishek Dutt is a spokesperson of Congress, Siddharth Sharma, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Siddharth ji, why has there been a delay on taking action on the vigilance report? 2.5 years.
Maria, this question has to be asked for the investigators. Aam Aadmi Party has always been open to investigation, but here right now, Aam Aadmi Party is charging BJP with a very serious offense, and we are very unequivocally saying that BJP is anti-education. It is hell-bent upon not educating the children of this nation, and I'm going to give you 3 examples. Example number 1, 51,000 schools across India have been shut down between 2018 and 19. 51,000 schools. 6,300 of those schools have been closed in Gujarat. 26,000 of those schools have been closed in Uttar Pradesh. In Karnataka, 29,000 schools are on the verge of being closed. Point number 2. Second point, India today needs around 6% of its GDP to be spent on education. That is the policy, that is the advice that has come from all quarters. 6% of its GDP, India's GDP, has to be spent on education. The union government is spending only 3.1% of it on education. Point number 3, the Gujarat literacy rate in 2001, when BJP came into power, was 79%. Within 10 years of Mr. Modi becoming the chief minister of Gujarat, it fell down to 69%.
Okay.
Aam Aadmi Party literally is
But you
standing
have not
wall
answered my question,
in front
Siddharth
of
Sharma.
BJP,
The
in
CVC
front of
report
BJP.
says that the
Yeah.
cost of constructing additional classrooms escalated to the extent of 326.25 crore, which is 53% higher than the awarded amount of tender.
Maria, you yourself said that CVC is saying that there might have been procedural lapses. Those are things for the investigating agency to find out. But when I compare these things, compare it with Aam Aadmi Party's Delhi government, we have added 700 schools.
Okay.
2.5 lakh
Anuja
students
Kapoor,
from other
Anuja Kapoor,
private schools have joined
this
Delhi
issue
government
surfaced
schools.
for the first time in 2019. Why is it that almost every day there is one issue or the other that
Mr.
is exchange of
Manoj Tiwari has been brandishing that paper since 2019. They tried to make it an issue even in 2020 elections, Vidhan Sabha elections in Delhi, and the people don't
Anuja
accept
Kapoor,
it for
please
the
respond.
simple reason
Yes.
that the parents of the
So
parents
what is the
parents of
question
the
you're
children
asking
know
me?
Yes,
what
my
what
question
the
is-
benefits they are getting.
My question is, an
they are
issue is
getting
that is raised
Allow
in
the person to be
2019.
quiet, sir.
2019.
Please be quiet.
Why is this issue surfacing again?
So it is not the
It's for
issue
the
which is
BJP
surfacing
to
again
say.
and again. The issue needs to be addressed. Actually, it was not, sir, allow me to speak. There is no point of shouting.
Anuja
I can
Kapoor,
shout
respond,
much
please.
better than you. You
Yes,
will get
Anuja
to know
Kapoor,
right now.
respond. Yes.
So the problem which we are facing is that these Aam Aadmi Party people are the Pinocchios. And what they are talking about, they are the most illiterate people. They just